Meanwhile, the Argentina corn production, they expect the corn to be right at 40 million metric tons and the soybeans at 57.7. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on the trading floor in Chicago. And let's see what the grain markets are doing at the present time as everybody gets ready in advance of the report. Well, obviously, that's not Virginia McGathy. We have Tim Evans standing by with Longleaf Trading. How you doing there, Tim? How are you?
I'm doing well, Marlin. Hope I didn't disappoint you.
No, not at all. Alrighty. Just wanted to make sure anybody looking at the banner on the screen wanted to make sure we had you identified. Tim Evans of Longleaf Trading. Good to have you with us here, sir. As we look at our grain trade this morning, boy, they came rocketing right out of the gate with a surge to the upside. For the most part, I guess, you have to say they've kind of held their own, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the grain markets came in a bit hot to start the week, no pun intended. I heard your weather review there a moment ago before I came on, and that really just tells the whole story. If you look in the Eastern Corn Belt, beans and corn would appear to be doing great, but in the Dakotas and the Western Corn Belt, obviously, weather has not been conducive for healthy and robust crops, and therefore the market continues to put a bid in higher in all three big grains.
Well, and in fact, Tim Ross was just saying a little bit ago that highs in Williston, North Dakota by Friday could be 104 degrees. That's not going to help the cause any if they don't receive any of the rains by that time. And it just looks like, for all intents and purposes, like that heat wave is just going to just remain anchored there for quite a while. Let's look at the corn market here right now, Tim. And, of course, I was talking about the government report coming out on Wednesday. There has to be a little bit of concern on the part of traders about what the numbers in that report may hold, but we have September corn now getting closer again to the highs of the day. We're within a penny of our high at 401.5. That's 9 cents higher. December 9.25 higher at 414. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that new one-year highs on the corn market today?
Yes, it is. I mean, and I think the concern, with respect to the corn crop, and we really kind of have to go back to, earlier in the spring when, we were having substantial rainfall and we were seeing, delays and replantings in Indiana and Illinois. And those replantings effectively, it put the current crop that's in the ground, it put it in a situation where right when this, heat is really picking up, that's right when the time these crops are going into pollination, and obviously with a lot of stress in pollination, that can dramatically reduce the potential yield of this year's crop. And obviously the corn market is pricing that in currently.
Well, I know they're talking about maybe almost too much rain in parts of the Eastern Corn Belt, but I just heard a little bit ago from someone in Iowa, and they said, boy, do they need a rain. They said it is really getting dry in parts of Iowa now. So a quick look here at our soybean crop prices and our wheat, and then we'll get into a break here. We have the August soybeans 27 3/4 higher at 10.28 3/4 on the wheat trade. We currently have Chicago September 15.5 higher at 550.5. Meanwhile, on the Kansas City wheat market right now, September 14.25 higher at 557.25. And the big news, of course, Minneapolis wheat. We have September there trading 30.25 higher once again at 794.5, about a nickel off our earlier high of the day. We'll pause for a break. We'll be back talking with Tim Evans about our livestock trade when we come back.
Field of possibilities, you look for the heart of a champion, one that stands out, helping you clearly see potential for the future. A relationship built through understanding and determination, a bond formed by trust. For nearly 6 decades, American Century Investments has been beside you, helping you plan for life's big occasions, like saving for a college education or investing for the golden years, so you can enjoy the life you've worked so hard to build. When you contact American Century, you reach our headquarters in the heartland, Kansas City, Missouri. Folks who listen and will guide you down the trail. Whether you have $3,000 or $3 million to invest, your success is important to us. Visit AmericanCentury.com/RFDTV or call 1-844-ON-RFDTV. American Century Investments. Traditional values are at the heart of your work and ours.
And we're back with you here to take a look at our livestock trade, and we're going to bring in a little extra help from the trading floor in Chicago. It is none other than Tim Evans of Longleaf Trading. He joins us right now live and direct. And, well, Tim, thanks so much for being a part of the program with me here today as we look at our cattle market. And this is a market that seems to be kind of lost right now. A lot of analysts have pointed around the fact that it just seems to be wavering around and chopping around in a sideways fashion with not too much of a sense of direction at the present time. Which way do you think this thing is going to go by the time we get a week out from right now? Will we be higher or lower?
Well, I mean, at Longleaf, we still believe the fundamentals are to the downside. I mean, you know, there's a pretty compelling case, I think, that can be argued either way right now, and I think that's kind of what traders are battling out and why we're seeing the price action we're seeing. You know, I mean, if you look at, for example, you know, the box values to close on Friday, you know, those are lowest levels we've seen since mid-April. But if you take a look at export numbers, you know, I saw the exports, you know, week ending June 26, you know, those are also the highest levels we have seen since April. You know, so exports are running a little hotter than normal. They're about 10% over last year, you know, but you know, cash trends have been obviously not favorable. So, you know, the big question is whether the, you know, better than expected exports can, you know, have the kind of impact on demand that's needed to kind of overcome the negative cash trends we're currently seeing. We don't believe they will. We ultimately think there's still a little more downside to come in live cattle.
So I wanted to point out the new beef cutout values that we got a little bit ago, and also the pork carcass cutout values that we got, and we can take a closer look here. It was another day of pressure here on the midday beef cutout values. We had choice cuts down $1.13 today. Once again, they're all the way down at $217.71 now. And select cuts were 57 higher at 203.08. Now, however, you take a look at our pork carcass cutout values today. They had a big surge on Friday, but they kind of gave that up here today. Carcass values down 84 cents at 104.12. If you recall, we had the belly market on Friday going up over $5, I believe, and today it's down about $0.50 at 206.47. So maybe the enthusiasm seems to be waning in this pork complex here.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, you know, it's to kind of have those one-off scenarios that suggest, you know, something in the market. You know, there's going to have limited effect given what we understand about the supply side of the equation here in the beef market currently. You know, obviously, if we start to see a trend, you know, establishing, countering kind of what's prevailing at the current time, then obviously I think the market will kind of rethink it. But that trend is not yet to be established.
So let's take a look at our lean hog futures on the board and get everybody updated here before I let you go. Here we have the August contract now 62 lower at 82.60. It's kind of been hovering around this area most of the morning so far. October lean hogs now at 70.55. That is down 43 cents on the day. So still maintaining that extremely wide spread between the nearbys and the deferred contracts here in the hog market. It'll be interesting to see if they ever narrow that up anytime soon. Tim, good to visit with you. Thanks for the help.
Thanks, Marlin. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you, Tim Evans of Longleaf Trading in Chicago. So there's